Verge trickling down beside me.
I'm here with Mike. He's one of the handlers at the Marcan Tiger Preserve. So you guys are currently on the road right now, but you have a huge preserve in Florida. Can you tell us a little bit about what goes on there?
Well, it's a 80-acre preserve we have there, which is home for these guys most of the year, and we take these guys out, do maybe 8 or 10 events a year with them, just a chance to get them out in front of people. But at home, it's just a relaxing time for the cats. We have about 40 cats all together in the program, so the cats that are home just kind of hang out, but they're part of a breeding and preservation program, so they do those sorts of things that are involved with that, but their job is just to be there and hang out. Yeah.
Now, you guys actually do breeding, and you said that you plan it years in advance?
Well, we work for veterinarian Joseph Marcan, who's been working with big cats for almost 50 years. When he started this program about 25 years ago in a partnership with India, it's just kind of an effort to maintain bloodlines of tigers so that one day when it's possible to have a reintroduction program, there'll be strong, genetically stable, healthy, viable animals available for a program like that. And that gets complicated. We can talk about that if you want, but that's a complicated process there. But that's something we're hoping to do. Because the first question people ask is, well, if they're captive bred, they won't survive in the wild. And that's absolutely true, because they have all the instincts, totally have all their instincts, but none of the skills. But what we're talking about is an in vitro program where a wild female will be sedated and then inseminated and then through their lines. And that's a way of infusing strong genetics back in the wild, because that's one of the number one factors they've recognized with wild tigers as one of their biggest threats is that as they're separated into smaller and smaller quadrants in India, they're beginning to interbreed, they're beginning to inbreed, so their genetic integrity is spiraling.
Do you think that's one of the reasons why tigers occasionally will attack people, maybe like in India?
Well, and you know, it certainly makes big news when that happens, but I can tell you that it's not their MO. Humans are not prey items for tigers. There are isolated incidents in the wild where tigers will pick out humans for whatever reason, but we're certainly not their, Mother Nature has not intended that. We're just too scrawny, skinny, we're not worth their effort. Tigers, their preferred prey, in fact, are shown to go after huge animals weighing up to about 2,500 pounds, because they found they expend the same energy going after a rabbit or a human as they would a giant animal, so they're going to go after the biggest thing they can get.
And they're actually solitary animals.
They are.
In
the wild, they're solitary. In captivity, it's really interesting. People ask about that. Lions are very much social animals, develop a very specific hierarchy. Tigers are utterly solitary, and it doesn't mean they don't get along. It just means there's no hardwiring in their brain on how they're supposed to react to each other. So with tigers, it 100% comes down to personality. Either they get along or they don't, and we have no say.
There's a huge black market for tiger parts. Every single part of the tiger is used in the Asian medicine market. There's tiger penis soup.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, people just use tiger parts to cure, or they think are curing, just everything. So.
Well, you know, and the thing about that, which is interesting, you know, it's easy to say, like, big game hunters, stop shooting tigers because you're making money. That's one thing. The traditional Chinese medicines, TCM as they call it, that's a complicated subject because I think it's horrible. There's a pill for that. However, it's easy for us as Americans to sit back in our houses and our flat screen TVs and say there's a pill for that. You're talking about a culture that's thousands of years old. So for us to tell them what you're doing is stupid or wrong, that's a really difficult place to be in, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, of course there are pills for that, but it's just you're fighting a culture that's centuries and centuries old, and that's one of the things they're up against. And it's not just that. Tigers in the wild, you're dealing with a country well over 1 billion people that's growing every day. You have farmers that are literally starving to death, and they have to choose between shooting a tiger and selling its body parts. Even though they revere the animal in their culture, their people are literally starving to death because they have to choose between their family lives, their families living or dying, or shooting a tiger. The tiger's going to lose. So it's not just evil humans, it's a whole host of problems that they have to face, which is in India pretty exclusively. That's what makes it such a difficult problem to tackle. But World Wildlife Fund, we always talk about that because they're doing fantastic work on the ground in India with their sleeves rolled up to solve the problems on the ground. So any chance we get, World Wildlife Fund is a group that we say is doing the best work for wild tigers in India.
And the Siberian Tiger Project also in Russia.
Siberian tigers, and I think they're actually doing a better job of it. You know, Russia does, they're doing a very good job of managing the species. They have much lower numbers than tigers do, but they're rebounding in a way that the tigers are not. In fact, World Wildlife Fund just did a census count. The Indian government was saying there's like 5,500 Bengal tigers left. World Wildlife Fund did an actual scientific count and said about 1,500 if you're lucky. many reserves where there were supposed sightings, there were no tigers at all. So it's complicated, yeah. A lot of money involved.
No,
Gets
you
me
have
wrangled
to
a
say
little
it
bit,
because
but
I think people don't know what is happening with the tigers. I had sponsored tigers through the Siberian Tiger Project, and both of them actually ended up dying either through getting hit by fallen trees from loggers or poachers. Well, now, it's predicted that tigers might go extinct within the next 10 years. Do you see this happening, or do you think that efforts are really going to pull through?
you know,
You're hopeful.
yeah, you have to be. You absolutely have to be. I keep up with what, and I hate to keep talking about World Wildlife Fund, but they do so much great work. If anybody's going to save the tiger, it's going to be them. I hope that India learns the lesson that Africa learned. Africa learned that tourism makes more money than illegal wildlife trade.
And what are some things people can do to help raise awareness that tigers are endangered and to help save them?
Well, I mean, specific things you can do are do research and support organizations. I mean, monetarily support organizations that are doing work on the ground to help the animals. Do your research to make sure it's a reputable organization. Support them. Then the other thing is just bringing your kids up and giving your kids an awareness and an appreciation of the animals. So when they grow up, we're developing a culture that reveres animals and sees their value. And I really think that's happened. That's like, why the show. People ask, well, why do you drag animals around the country and bring it back? Well, for one, they love it. They love being in front of people. But we have gotten so many letters from people that say, thank you so much for bringing these tigers out in front of us because we never thought about it. My kid went down a whole book report on tigers because they were blown away because they got to see them in person. So that.
Now, what do you think about people who actually keep tigers as pets? That's happening.
Tigers are not pets. Yeah, they're definitely not. They're definitely wild animals. And I will say, we work very closely with a group called Tiger Haven. That's a sanctuary in Tennessee. They have she started with like 4 cats. She has almost 400 lions, big cats. Lions and tigers, almost all of them situations where people have gotten them as pets because they're very cute as cubs and they think, wow, what a great guard dog or whatever nonsense they think it is. And they end up realizing these animals are lethal. And those animals either get killed before they get to a sanctuary or they're shipped off for somebody else to take care of. And yeah, definitely not pets. They're best left to people that are equipped to deal with them because it's not just understanding animals, it's a financial thing. You have to be able to financially have enough money to be able to take care of them because it's huge food bills, and not even talking about how lethal they are.
What are some of your favorite things about dedicating your life to tigers and being with these cats every day?
It's people ask me that, and I don't know what to say. You can't put your finger on it. I can't imagine ever doing anything else. I can't even picture my life not being around them. You don't do it for the money. There's no money involved. You don't do it for there's no weekends. There's no vacations. It's 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Andy and I swap off every other year. One of us goes home for Christmas. Other than that, we were always around them 24 hours a day. But just being around them, they become such an integral part of your life that you can't imagine being anywhere away from them. You're gone.
We're going to get Lazarus. He's the one on the boomer ball there. That's his favorite spot during the show. In fact, he frequently falls completely asleep out here while we do the training. Very stressful life you lead here, Laz. We're going to get him to kind of face front on his seat there. And then we're going to see if we can get Laz to get his front paws up in the air just a little bit.
And then just to go in there and sit down with them, any problem you've ever had in your life disappears when you get to go have the privilege of sitting down next to them. And it is a privilege from them. They allow you to come sit next to them when they want to. And it's that feeling, that's what makes it all worthwhile. You forget about everything when you get to do that.
Well, we hope to have the privilege of having tigers around for a long time. So all you guys there watching should go check out.
Just get to tigerpreserve.org. Tigerpreserve.org will get you there.